Okay, welcome to the KATSEYE Files, Episode 3. Is Grant Gilmore behind KATSEYE's sexualized choreography? Welcome back to the KATSEYE Files, a essay analysis and breakdown of why KATSEYE is being hated, their discography and their performance, and all the directors and the industry behind KATSEYE. This is where we discuss it. This is also going to be on YouTube at Lexi Unboxes if you prefer to watch it there. But TikTok always gets its first because it has the green screen effect. Now, this is where we do not collect one cropped screenshot and yell evidence and run away like somebody's unsupervised cousin on Twitter. No, baby, we investigate. And today, we need to talk about the man whose dancing has caused the internet to ask several important questions. What the hell was that? Why is everybody's ass moving? And is this why Daniela dances like somebody plugged her directly into a nuclear reactor? His name is Grant Gilmore, one of KATSEYE's primary choreographers and performance directors. Grant has been receiving a substantial amount of hate online, and some people believe his work is creative, unusual, and instantly recognizable. Other people say he dances to every word, punctuation mark, and intrusive thought inside the song. But this video is not merely about whether Grant looks strange when he dances. People look strange every day for free. The real questions are, how much of KATSEYE's choreography is Grant personally responsible for? Which choreography was shared with Sohei Sugihara or created by outside choreography? Has Grant's personal movement style contributed to KATSEYE becoming increasingly sexualized? And could the performance style he teaches be one reason Daniela receives so much hate for supposedly over dancing? So let's open the file. Okay, the first question we need to ask is, who is Grant Gilmore? Grant Gilmore is a 27-year-old dancer and choreographer and performance director from Houston, Texas. According to Grant, he began teaching himself choreography as a child by watching dance videos on YouTube. He would record himself with a camera recorder and watch the footage and critique his own movement. His mother eventually placed him in formal dance classes at approximately 14. He began attending dance competitions and conventions. By 15, he was already teaching $20 dance classes from a studio inside his family's home. Grant's professional identity is primarily connected to commercial dance and jazz funk. Jazz funk blends jazz technique with hip-hop influenced movement, isolations, dramatic poses, and theatrical presentation. It is the type of choreography commonly used in pop concerts, music videos, and performances where the dancer is expected to sell more than technical precision. The dancer must sell attitude. The dancer must sell character. And yes, frequently the dancer must sell, sexualization. At 18, Grant moved to Los Angeles with approximately $2,000 and slept on a friend's couch. Within weeks, he booked a Nike job that reportedly covered 6 months of rent. He later performed professionally with artists including Taylor Swift, Charlie XCX, Sam Smith, Katy Perry, and Camila Cabello, Troye Sivan, and Rihanna. That professional history matters because Grant did not come from a performance environment built primarily around disappearing into a perfectly synchronized group. He comes from Western commercial pop, where the goal is to often make the audience remember the individual performer. And that brings us to one of the most important parts of Grant's development. Grant learned to draw on the audience. Grant said that before touring with Taylor Swift, that his dancing was more intense, mysterious, and internal. He knew how to feel the performance within himself. But Taylor's tour taught him to open the performance outward. He learned how to connect with a massive audience and project recognizable emotion and bring more color into his movement. As Grant continued working with performers like Charlie XCX, he said his dancing became even more energetic and colorful and expressive. So Grant's professional development looks something like this. Internal movement, then audience connection. Then larger facial expressions, more theatrical movement, and greater emotional projection. Then Grant became KATSEYE's performance director. And suddenly, KATSEYE's extreme facial performance starts making a whole lot of more sense. The girls do not dance only with their arms and legs. They dance with their eyes, mouths, eyebrows, teeth, and occasionally what appears to be every active nerve ending in their faces. That is not necessarily random. Grant and Sophie did not train... my bad. I read that wrong. Grant and Sohei did not train KATSEYE only on choreography. They also helped teach the members how to hold microphones and project emotion, and embody different characters and use facial expressions and create more, memorable stage presence. Under this method, the face is not decoration placed on top of the choreography. The face is part of the choreography. A smirk is another count. A wink is another count. A snarl is another count. Baring the teeth during gnarly is another choreographed way to pull the audience into the world of the song. Grant's goal is not simply to make the performer hit the movement correctly. His goal is to make the audience feel something and remember what they saw. Grant does not merely choreograph where the body moves, he choreographs where the audience look. That is one reason KATSEYE can feel more expressive than groups built primarily around synchronization and uniformity. In synchronized group choreography, one member performing with dramatically more energy can disrupt the visual balance. But in Grant's Western commercial pop approach, grabbing attention can be the entire point. The performer is supposed to reach through the screen, grab the viewer by the eyeballs, and create a moment that survives after the music stops. Keep that point in your pocket because we are coming back to Daniela. Rihanna's 2023 Super Bowl, the career turning point. In 2023, Grant performed as one of Rihanna's dancers during the Super Bowl halftime show. Grant did not choreograph that performance. The choreographer was Parris Goebel. We are not stealing a woman's work and handing it to Grant merely because he happened to perform inside of it. However, Grant personally identifies Rihanna's Super Bowl performance as the moment that caused him to reconsider his whole career. After completing one of the largest performances of his life, Grant still felt creatively unsatisfied. He no longer wanted to remain only a dancer executing somebody else's vision. He wanted to create. Grant paused touring, committed himself to choreography, and began teaching and publishing more of his own work. That makes Rihanna's Super Bowl more than a random line on his resume. It is the bridge between Grant and the backup dancer, and Grant, the choreography, who eventually helped shape KATSEYE. Now let's take a look at the movement vocabulary surrounding that performance. Parris Goebel's Rihanna choreography included deep, wide-legged stances, hip and pelvic isolations, repeated ass movement, and crawling and prowling formations, sharp freezes, aggressive facial performance, and sensual movement presented through confidence and power. Then we compare those elements with Grant's later solo choreography. Sudden hip and ass isolations, exaggerated facial expressions, fast movements followed by dramatic poses, sexual gestures mixed with comedy, and literal interpretations of lyrics, footwork, strange body shapes, constant visual changes, intended to keep the audience watching. Do we have a statement from Grant saying, I copied Parris Goebel's Rihanna and Rihanna's choreography and placed it inside KATSEYE? Well, no. Therefore, that is not a fact I'm going to claim. What we can establish is that Grant spent years performing adult Western pop choreography. Alright, I'm going to end the first part here. Be sure to follow for more breakdown of KATSEYE. Subscribe if you're on YouTube. And we will continue soon.